Hola. It is a rainy day. Oh, okay. I don't have to talk so loud. It is a rainy day in Northern California. It is Sunday, December the 13th, 2020, and this is a Metaphysical Bible study. Today is one of those days where I just had to open up a page, and I wasn't going to do this. I was going to wait for Smokey, and I just went ahead on and started fluttering the pages of my Metaphysical Interpretation of the Bible by Stephen L. Harefield. And I'm asking for confirmation and information, always confirmation and information. And so I opened up to this page. The page that I opened up to was 328. And it reflected so much to the study session that we had on Friday, as it always seems to, right? But it reflected so much that I needed to share it with you guys. And so that's why I'm sharing it with you right now. Page 328. And it goes a little something like this. Positive thoughts are very easy to accept and offer ease of mind. The difficulty in our cerebral undertakings seem to stem from the negative thoughts that we also tend to produce. They are more designed as a balance for the mind than anything else, meaning that if we have not the one, the other will surely follow. To acknowledge them is fine. However, to fight them is not the best way to handle them. Metaphysically, when the Master advised us to not resist our enemies, he was referring not only to humankind, but to ourselves and our mind. We simply must not feed these negative thoughts any type of mental energy. By the same token, we must not fear them either, for this automatically gives them power over us, since they are part of the harmonic flow of thought. The problem that is purely a matter of personal discernment is that we deem them to be something unhealthy. This is our undoing, when in reality, they are the natural forms of thinking that we all experience. We all have these cerebral beasts, but we do not use them as a learning tool that can make us understand why they are present in our minds and thought streams in the first place. Generally, they are brought on by previous experiences. If we turn a negative thought into action, it is reasonable to determine that a general negativity will follow, merely because it is as creative as the positive mindset we possess. A look at the activities of life in general and our own life in particular should be proof enough. The point is not to resist the negative thought, but rather to allow for it as a balancing measure and learn why it is there. If we fight any thought, good or bad, it slips into analysis where it has a tendency to become magnified as we add the value of our emotional energy to them. The solution is to allow the natural flow of the mind to bypass that thought by not giving it any significance. It is not up to us to choose what to think. Wait, that wasn't a question. It was a question. Is it not up to us to choose what to think? Further, the more we deal with the external, the greater the pull of the negative thought forms. This pattern will produce many struggles, and we will be fighting the beasts in the wilderness, our enemies. We simply need to let them be without allowing them to tempt us into action. At that point, it is time to become objective, and from this perspective, we can find where they originate within us. Only through the eyes of objectivity can we accomplish this. Generally speaking, they are our past colliding with our present. If we resist, they will persist and overpower us. This is what the master learned while in the metaphysical wilderness of life's experience. From what we have discussed so far, we can gather that the inner struggles are usually in our mind, and when we give them too much importance, they become external actions. Considering our physiognomic makeup, considering our physiognomic makeup, because I think the G is silent. Considering our physiognomic makeup, we always have the potential to be pestered by the wild beast. We then become distraught, losing our own power of self, and we tend to blame life, and we tend to blame life. Having the power of choice between good and evil, we can expect the pull of negativity every time we feel a thought is bad. This stops us from being focused, and we are distracted by the physical side. It means that we surrender to the external world. If one were to notice, it is usually the physical side that engenders our inner struggles, but they are conceived in our minds. We must persevere in creating a better balance with the outer. However, it would be a mistake to attempt balancing the inner nature with the outer. It must be the reverse. We must balance the outer with the inner. Once it is done, we are the first cause and life is our effect. The master had to know how to establish this delicate equilibrium from the outer to the inner, and he did so during his period of temptation. That period lasted 40 days and 40 nights. This number seems to have a special biblical significance. To create the flood, it has rained 40 days and 40 nights. Moses guided his tribe through the wilderness for 40 years. The reason for those specific time spans is not completely clear, except in the field of numerology, a field that in theory intends to create a single-digit solid foundation. If we add 4 and 0, the result is 4. As a numerological symbol, 4 is the rock, the foundation, the stability of an enterprise. According to the scriptures, it took that long to accomplish the task. For Noah and Jesus, it was a test of their ability to stabilize within the spiritual nature, while Moses was attempting to stabilize within the physical world. As many scholars have speculated, a day to God is approximately 1,000 years. But there remains one question. In whose sight was this being done? God's or ours? We can deduce that the events involving Noah and Moses were in God's eyes. As for the temptation of Jesus in the desert, it was in ours, physical terms. To God's spirit, the concept of time is eternal but irrelevant, as time is linear in its movement. To the human, however, time is extremely important, since all things are measured in this realm of limitation from which we seemingly cannot escape. Neither the creative principle nor the soul would recognize the specific span of days as we do. Time in itself does not really exist, since it is but a reflection of mind from its source. The self that is the reference point of all material things. This encapsulates the essence of the idea of time. Only in Genesis do we read that the sun rose and set as an image of what we know as a day. Nothing further is mentioned on that subject in the biblical text. For that matter, according to the story of creation, there was no sun or light because nothing exists prior to that period. Deductively, it is a reference to cyclical It is a reference to cyclical periods. Metaphysically, we could define them as cycles of the mind. That in turn creates the cycles of life. The latter must be stabilized and balanced, or we are in continuous turmoil, as the world is now. Our thought streams generate this disorder as thoughts continue to expand through our individual and collective interaction with life. Depending on our choices, we either develop or retract within. We move forward or we contract. Yet in either process, we experience growth in knowledge, and thus it is simply forward movement. In effect, it is what the Master did during his encounter with Satan in the wilderness. Even though we may not realize it, we do the same day in and day out. Once we learn to allow our minds the natural flow of life with thought, our inner fight is at a close. We then become a creative force in our outer world with full command, as the Master says we can. If you did not check out Friday's study session, please check it out. The reason why I am posting this today, and I decided to go ahead and do this Bible study by myself today, Acheta Smokey, is because it was so reflective upon what I spoke about on Friday that I just had to document it. I hadn't read this page before. What I've been doing with this book is I've been highlighting all of the places that I visit in the book so that I know that I was there, and I put the date of when I did it. And since we've been doing the study, the beginning of the year, it's been so, to open up to this page and for it to be so reflective to what was already projected through me was a clarification and a confirmation of the information already being inside of us. It's like if me attaining this book, if just having this book created this flow in me to be so specific to what's inside the book, then so be it. It did what it was supposed to do. I haven't read all the pages in this book, but every time that I open this book, it reflects to what I know, to what I feel, to what I've been shown. And so it continues to be confirmation of what is happening in my life and in my path of existence. And so normally on the Metaphysical Bible study, Smokey pulls a card. And so I'm going to share with you the card that I pulled for myself today. That was really interesting because it always happens right when it's supposed to happen. And I've been paying attention to the cards that I pulled for myself, and then the cards that I pull for other people when they've asked. And it's just been a real interesting reflection and perspective of all of this. And so I want to share with you because I know that a lot of us are on similar paths, and that's why we meet today in this particular situation. Con permiso, excuse me. So let me find. So the card that I pulled today was the card of soul healing. And I'll share with you guys in the study what this card looks like. It's the card of soul healing, and it is for the solar star chakra, the one that's above the crown. Soul healing, and it's number 35. You have called upon this card today as deep soul healing is at hand. Your soul is the all-powerful conscious aspect of your being and is currently undergoing a healing process. This awakening can sometimes stir things up in your life as it creates the change required to expand to a higher state of awareness. You are undergoing a rite of passage where the things that are not working in your life are being reviewed. Know that this chaos is a positive thing. It is what is required at this time. There is a divine order to this chaos, and you are being asked to trust, listen, and action the loving guidance from your soul. Your soul holds the medicine for you to heal and knows what is best for you. It is time of deep cleansing, and you are encouraged to let go of the old as you make way for the new. Soul healing allows for healing on all levels of your being: emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental. A complete cleansing on all levels, aspects, and states of being. Be very gentle and kind to yourself as you transit through this very powerful and important time. Be sure to nurture yourself through this process, giving yourself lots of love and care. Listen to the messages your body and soul are offering you and follow through on this guidance. Amazing awakening is happening for you right now, and soon you will reap the rewards. Know that this process you are currently undergoing is a powerful injection of positive light from your soul as you heal deeply. The affirmation: I am open to receive deep soul healing now and embrace the support of pure love to guide my healing journey. And this was on page 103 of this chakra book. And 103 results back down to 4, which is the number that we were just speaking on in the metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, which is written by a completely different person who wrote the chakra cards, which is Rachel Charman. So this is just another lesson on synchronicity. And I know that earlier in the weeks we talked about the synchronicities that will be happening during this time, the confirmations that will be happening about this evolution and this path and this change that is happening all over the world. But more importantly, within us, within each individual. So I hope that this touched you like it touched me. It was important for me to share it with you. We will definitely come back to you guys next time with the usual metaphysical Bible study. It just matches the day. It is a rainy day. It is time for cleansing and time for healing. I am doing my soul healing. I'm working every second of the day doing this work, and I am 100% committed to doing this. And I hope that you are too, because that's what it's going to take for where we are going right now. Ache, 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 ache trece. Enjoy this day. I'll see you guys. I'll feel you guys on Friday. Adios.